Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Steakhouse. We pull back the open sign, or actually pull the curtain back, turn the open sign on, and open up the doors for a Wednesday T-Bones edition of the Steakhouse. Nate, good to see you out there. You know the drill. If you guys are hearing me, which I do believe you are, thumbs up. Let me know. I hope you're doing well and staying safe and wherever you are hunkered down in this great country of ours. Busy show, a little bit late. Two items. I'm going to get to Morgan. Morgan's going to join us in a few minutes, and we've got a lot of things to talk about with her. She's got talk about bona fide fun. I mean, she has been swamped, and we got some fun stuff to talk about that'll be debuting. Actually, you may have seen some of it already this week. You may have already seen the TikTok video. Of course, you saw Ramsey's video, Ramsey Romano's video last week. Morgan's got some great stuff up her sleeve to keep you guys trying to kind of involved. And I'm also going to debut a little something as well for you all on Friday, a little additional bonus content as well that we're going to talk about. Good to see you, Mom, as well. So we have all that going for us today. Before I jump into the news of the day, we do have some breaking news. And originally, I was going to have Chris Brown join us, and I was running out of time. This thing broke about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, and ran out of time to get with Chris and with Joe. But it is breaking news time. I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if the league has this on their website yet. I don't think they do, but I'm going to go ahead and put this up anyway. Give you the breaking news right there that this gentleman right here, remember this gentleman did that? Well, let me pull me off. Let me give him a little bit larger here. If I pull me down, baseball being on hold and with things in flux in the major league level, with camps shutting down the middle of that, we're that last stretch for guys to make a club, to make AAA, AA clubs. Well, the AA and AAA clubs are not playing. The big league clubs had their rosters sort of set. Now, the big leagues, of course, are going through plans to play at some point as well. We're all in that same boat. But what happens with the whole roster thing is that as spring training moves along and you get your big league invitees, non-roster guys, which Akeem Bostic was with the Cardinals organization, you got those guys, and they start to trickle down. If they're not going to make the big club, they usually give them the option of AAA or AA. And I don't know what his situation was. We'll get that from Joe next week. We'll get Joe on next week to get caught up. But what usually happens in those situations when you get a guy like a Bostic, and they don't make the big club, they're usually assigned to AAA with the option of opting out of that contract and becoming a free agent. It happens. I would say about half the time guys will take the AAA assignment, and maybe half the time they don't. Sometimes they'll look out and say, hey, you know what, I want to go play AAA, but not with this organization. Perhaps maybe, let's say, for example, the Cardinals don't have as many openings as maybe a team that's kind of rebuilding. I mean, maybe it's a team that's trying to find their way again, and maybe fast forward to the big leagues that direction. I know a couple of years ago had a really good conversation with a couple of Tigers prospects, and one of the reasons those guys changed organizations to the Tigers was because they had a real good chance, 17 and 16, to make the big leagues because of all the young infusion of talent. So it all depends on how it works out. I don't know Bostic's story exactly. What I do know is it's great news for Kansas City. You're getting a guy back who was a very big part of things in August. I can never forget that doubleheader in Grand Prairie. The T-Bones won both ball games with two guys that worked with the club earlier, in Jose Mesa Jr. and then Bostic, both of those doubleheader sweep of the Air Hogs. You look back, all those games matter. When you win a division by a game, every game matters. In August, his contributions, getting 3 wins in August, were huge. Well, Bostic's back. I look forward to having him back as well. Patrick, good to see you, my friend, and also Kenny Matthews, Cheryl as well. Everybody checking in here. But that's the breaking news right there. That just crossed the association at the noon transaction hour. It's been quiet. The hot stove, remember last week? This is my report. That was it. There wasn't a lot to talk about. And really, the last 2 days, we had something to talk about. I'm going to add one more piece to you. I'm going to come back to the second piece as well in a moment, because the T-Bones have also added another signee, and I'm going to pull that up for you. I'm going to save it. I'm actually going to save it. I'm going to get Morgan on first, and we'll come back to this. So stay tuned. We're going to come back and talk more about transactions and the hot stove and what's going on with the T-Bones, because again, there is some stuff to add, and I do want to add it to you, and I think it's well worth mentioning as well. A young gentleman that we've signed, I think it's an interesting story. It's one of those deals where oftentimes I'll do the bio like I was working on last night and this morning of a new signee, and it's a lot like it's a research paper really. When you don't know a guy, you try to dig up as much as you can. With the internet now, you can do that. And I found some really fun stuff. Really, one thing in particular about this young man. We're going to save that. We're going to save that for the back end of the show. Pitching staff, Anthony is looking good. Jeff, good to see you as well. Christian Craig, going to miss you, mate. Speaking of Grand Prairie. Nolan Noble, good to see you as well. Pitching staff is looking good. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to go through the roster a bit as well in the second half of the show. But I want to get Morgan on now. She's actually on time. I was running a little bit late. Besides this, I also shattered a light bulb in my lights, my fancy lighting system I've got here on the one that faces me. It got caught on a bracket of the other light. And anyway, boom! Nice mess in my office here. And luckily I'm barefoot too. So all good. All right, we're going to bring her in. She is joining us from her hunker down location. And sorry about that, everybody. There we go. Now everybody's back. Now we're all good. The internet, it's warning too. I've got these warnings today, and Morgan is joining me now. I believe I got her mic. There you go, Morgan. There you go. Got me. I'm getting warnings like from AT&T that loaded, and I probably should just flipped over, but we got bumped off for a moment. We are back live, but sorry about that. I got froze up and then all that good stuff. We'll see. Where was I? She's been busy, and it's been a fun week, bona fide fun. Let's first off. Well, we talked about last. We had Ramsey's video on Ramsey Romano. We ventured into a new social media. Well, I should say newer for us. But the TikTok thing debuted last night, which I thought was awesome. Tell me about the TikTok.
Oh, the TikTok thing. Well, first, if you don't follow us on TikTok, fans, follow us. It's just another way for us to stay connected. It's what's trending. It's a trending app. It's basically kind of like Vine, but the 2020 version. It's just videos and fun stuff. So it's kind of going to hit those millennials and the younger crowd. So those of you that are younger fans, follow us. Older fans, follow us. We're trying to build our following with that, but it's just another way for us to say, yeah, we're on TikTok, so give us a reason to incorporate our fans and definitely incorporate the players. And I talked a lot with Paige and Joey, which are Joe's daughters, yesterday, and they said that Joe is a huge fan of TikTok, so we will definitely get him on during the season, get him doing some dances and the renegade and all those fun dances that I don't even know how to do. um, but yeah, we put together a TikTok video yesterday, and I couldn't have done it without Paige and Joey helping me out, and Joe as well. But my idea was because we're new to it, to kind of start a TikTok Tuesday, and every week we do kind of a T-Bone staff, players, coaching staff TikTok, where you kind of get to see the faces of us, kind of touch base with the fans. And I think it helps that the fans get to see 2018 players and 2019 players, and they get to see the coaches, because we're all stuck at home, so we're just trying to keep the spirits up and keep you laughing and keep you smiling and get you excited for some baseball. And it definitely turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I'm going to give props to the girls for that, because they definitely helped me out with it. But my vision came true, and it turned out to be kind of a hit. We're at like 1.5 K views on Facebook, and we've got about 1,000 on Twitter, and it's exciting. It was fun to put together. It was my project all day, trying to track these videos down.
You can see there, I'm going to pull the graphic off for us there so you can see a little bit better, but you can kind of see right there on the screen there. I've got the TikTok screen up, so basically you can kind of see it, but it's I'm actually going to play it. I'm going to play.
Will
This is
definitely
actually
be included. I have a ton of ideas every Tuesday, so I'll definitely get you in.
You can see it. Actually, if you folks are not following us on TikTok, you should. But again, the video you're seeing playing, it's kind of small on your screen there with all three of us there. But if you are not following us, you should, and you can follow some TikTok. That is actually a link to it that was on our Twitter page there. But if you want our Twitter page now, and it's also the links there as well. But you can kind of see the video. It's good, great stuff, good stuff, love it, and very good stuff from Morgan. That was the first thing. Now. The fun part was, of course, the fun part was probably putting it together. How long did that take? Because you had people, you had I think, let's see, California, Nevada, Florida, Texas, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas. You had New Jersey. You had Pennsylvania, Florida. I mean, you had it all. You had it all.
It was catch around the world, as I like to call it. If we can't be together, it's the one thing that brought us all together was baseball. And it was really fun. It was hard to kind of put it all together, to be honest. I had about 15 people that I had to get, and then the girls and Joe had to get all the players that we got in there. And there were some that we couldn't fit in, because it gives you the max amount of time is 60 seconds. And so we just kind of picked the ones that we got first and put them all together and collabed. And we wanted to bring in the girls, and we wanted to make sure Brownie's kids were in it, and just kind of put a fun twist to it. And it turned out really well. It did take all day, and we didn't get it put up until probably 9 o'clock at night last night. And
it's funny because I was actually
up yesterday.
You did great, and you inspired me, because I was sitting. I taped my cooking demonstration yesterday, which is totally wheels off random, which I think I'll do on Friday. But I did a little cooking in the kitchen, and then I sat down. I said, "Well, I'll edit it later." But after seeing you edit that, I'm like, I was inspired, knocked it out in about an hour. But no, it's not it's not going to be breaking on the Food Network anytime soon. It's not the best. My wife, as much as I love her, she's not really a photographer, a video photographer, but she did a good job. We had fun with it. So you inspired me there. Okay, so let's jump into what also is going on this week. You got a little something new. Do you want to tell us about what you got, some bona fide fun that you've got coming up? I guess it today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
I forget what day it is. Wednesday. So is it? What do you got going on for us?
So, well, first of all, I really hope that the fans are liking kind of what we're doing with our social media. My goal was to make it more interactive and to get you guys involved and to kind of get you to relate to our players and see what they're up to because we're all kind of just stuck at home and I'm curious to see what our players are doing. So if I'm curious, I can imagine our fans are. So what we're doing is, I've reached out to some of our players and they send me in videos of kind of like a day in the life of like Ramsey Romano and our next one's going to be Dylan Tice, so you're going to get to see kind of how he's spending his time training and getting prepared for the season because time doesn't stop. We still have to get on with our lives and so that's something that I'm trying to focus on. I really want you guys to relate to these people and relate to us. We are still trying to have fun. The next thing that I'm trying to introduce is obviously we can't be together, but what better way to bring everybody together than setting up a virtual sports movie trivia night? And that will take place tomorrow night at 6 o'clock via Zoom. But in order to play, you do have to email kctbonesbaseball@gmail.com, and then I will send you the contact information, the login info, stuff like that. The second and third place winners, they will get free movie tickets to a movie of their choice. And then the first place grand prize winner that answers the most questions correctly will get a prize pack from the T-Bones and then also some movie tickets to a movie of their choice. So it's a really fun thing. It lasts 30 minutes, super easy to do. It's free. All you have to do is email kctbonesbaseball@gmail.com. All the information is there. And then I'm sorry, Sizzle the Bull will email you in response the login information, how to access it, and grab a drink, some snacks. Join us tomorrow for our first virtual sports movie trivia night, 6:30. And excited. I got to see all the questions, and it's super easy. It's fun. It's just kind of a way for us to see you guys and get you involved and keep you thinking about baseball and sports because we're kind of derived from sports right now. Anyway, so
Sure are derived from sports. So Sizzle's got his own social or his own email account. So I have to.
he is, yeah. Sizzle is he has his own. I caught him yesterday back in the barn just surfing the web, and I had to take his laptop from him. So yeah, he does have. You'll get an email directly from Sizzle and his
That's
handler.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, it is kind of the anniversary of one of my, and I thought I downloaded this earlier, and maybe I'll do it while we're talking about it. But one of my favorite things that you did, and let me see if I can actually pull it up because I actually had it earlier.
Oh,
And one of my favorite things you ever did for us, mean, there are a lot of
you know what it
favorite things you've done
is.
for us. There's a lot of favorite things you've done. Let me see if I've actually got it. I don't know if I saved it as I thought I had it, but it was on Facebook, and maybe I can download it as we talk. But one of my favorite things you've done was the Sandlot,
Oh,
the Sandlot picture from gosh, was that 2 years ago already? Was that 2 years
2018.
ago?
Yeah,
Is that two? Gosh,
time
man,
flies
time
when you're having
flies.
fun.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt, time flies. Yeah, I actually got a shot of that. I actually have it. I downloaded that. I have several copies of one of my favorite things that Morgan did, and it's this picture. She recreated the Sandlot photo. It would have been that, like I said, last 2 seasons ago, and there it is right there. I'll pull me down so you guys can see it. But
I think we might have lost him, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Did you
Can you?
lose me? Sorry
Can
about
you?
that. Did you?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if you can hear me or not.
No, no, I can hear you. I don't. I may have dropped myself, but one of my favorite things you did right there, and again, you have Noah Perio Jr. Looks like Ryan Brett, Todd Cunningham, Keith Curcio, Joe Filomeno. That was one of my favorite things. I mean, you did a lot, but I love that idea. Take walk us back to that day. Was that was one challenging photo shoot, wasn't it?
It was, but I had coordinated with the players to do it a Sunday game, and I think it was the day of the season ticket holder like group photo, I believe, because I remember Jackie was watching. But no, it was great. The players were I mean, our players are always really cooperative and willing to do things, and it helps that Joe's there to kind of help direct them. But I kind of told them each character and I screenshotted, Keith Curcio was probably the best one because I screenshotted he's in the photo. And I said, I need you to dress like this. And he goes, oh, I have the perfect outfit. He came and he was literally in character the whole time. I would tell him to scoot over and he'd be like, oh yeah. And he would just be kind of like that chirping character that he is in the movie. And no, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, Dom's shirt, the striped shirt, I had to fill it in with the right colors because you couldn't tell that he was in a striped shirt. So I did fill that in. But I think overall it turned out. I mean, I picked spot on players to portray these characters. And Joe Filomeno was the funniest one of them all. He goes, of course, the fat guy plays Ham. And I said, you know what? He goes, but Ham is the perfect character for me. And he did it so well, and that was just a fun shoot to get to do. It took 20 minutes. They were excited to do it, and I was happy. And it got a lot of good publicity on social media. Fans loved it. I know Nick Torres thought it was literally spot on. Corinne talks to me about it all the time. So it was fun to put together. It was definitely probably one of my best ideas to do.
Yeah, I remember when every time I see Joe Filomeno and I saw him over in Australia, it was the same thing. I was like, man, that was an awesome photo shoot. But yeah, and the thing about it is, what I really love about that is this happened today again. I was going through my photos because I knew I had a copy of it. I thought, well, I couldn't find it. I knew I had one, and I'd already moved my 19 or 18 season stuff to the cloud. So I was, I'll just go to Facebook. But then I realized, wait, I'm looking at Facebook. What is that is that the movie? Because I'd seen the movie poster on a couple other
Mm-hmm.
teams' websites and different Twitter feeds. I'm thinking, wait, that's the is that the real? Wait, I had to do a double take to make sure it wasn't the movie one I was using, and it was the one that Morgan did. So great stuff right there. You got some fun stuff. That was one of my favorite things that we did, and that was, of course, they're always favorite stuff. What else is going on? Anything else we should be sort of prepared for? TikTok, obviously, and then this trivia
Yeah.
on Thursday. Those two things are pretty big deals from
Yeah.
our bona fide fun vault.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I said, we're always thinking of things to keep us kind of occupied and to keep the fans entertained. We are going to do a movie trivia night tomorrow. Again, just the instructions are on our social media. We will be posting a day in the life of Dylan Tice today. Probably here around, before dinner time or so you can kind of see how he's spending his time. We'll do one with Joe and his family. We'll do one with Dan. You'll get to kind of see how we're all living. I will do one. Brownie will do one. Cheryl will get you to do one, just to kind of see the day in the life of all of us. But I like to start off with the players just because they're kind of the most important aspect of the team. They make up the team. So that's kind of fun. But other than that, just constantly thinking of things. We are going to ask the fans to kind of vote for their all-star T-Bones team. If they had to pick a T-Bone starting lineup, any player from past to present, who would you pick? So I'll be posting that probably next week. We're also going to do, what are the four faces that you would put on your T-Bones Mount Rushmore, and
Love
just
it,
kind
love
of
it.
give you some voting things. We're also going to let the fans, we're going to do a fan Friday. Every Friday, we do a fan Friday question. And this Friday's question, to get you guys kind of thinking about it, is what on-field activities do you have? What ideas make sure that they're appropriate, nothing too, can't go streaking down the field or anything. But what fan activities on field
Well, you
activities?
could,
Well, you
but
could, but
because
I
they did it.
really don't think that would go over well and look
Did
good
I
on
even tell
myself.
this? I don't know if I've been told this story, but in the Australian Baseball League Championship Series Game 1 this last year in Melbourne, yes, in the sixth inning of a 1-1 nip and tuck ball game, some gentleman just jumped over the fence in Buck Rogers and went freaking across the outfield on front of 6,000 people. And I got to tell you, um, it was a bit of a, where I was sitting. It was not a. It was real disturbing. Put it that way. I mean, it was disturbing. And the
Yeah,
guy, and the guy scaled. He scaled the fence and ran toward the train, and they could never catch the guy. The coppers
it,
chased him, but he
it's
ran toward the
what
chain. I guess he got. I guess he got the train naked. I don't know what happened. So, but it did happen in Australia.
we definitely we can't encourage that. I mean, you
Right.
could probably do something to where they're not like completely I don't know. I mean, I don't want to speak on it, but
No, I'm just saying. I've seen it happen. It was very
yeah,
disturbing, and it
and
was in a playoff game, a 1-1 game in the sixth, where it was one of those games that could have gone either way. And well, Jim, like I said, it was. I think everybody was in such shock in general, just because it's something you'd see at footy or
yeah.
cricket or an NFL or whatever. And see some guy at a baseball game in Australia taking the time and to get there. And then, like I said, they went after the guy, but he ran to the train tracks. And I had this vision of this guy in a trench coat riding back into downtown Melbourne with his trench coat on, his flip flops. But anyway, it
I
has been. Do not try that at home, sir.
No, I have definitely been to a baseball game. I think it might have been a Cardinals game. And a girl ran onto the field and was trying to pinch the outfielders' butts. And
Oh
she got
no.
tackled by the police. And I was like, that is my spirit animal, because if I had the chance to go pinch some professional baseball players' butts at
You'd have
that
done
time
it.
in my life, I
Yeah,
definitely would
yeah.
have done it too. But
You had
um,
endless bail
right.
money too would have been good, right?
Absolutely. I'm sure I have friends that would have bailed me out. That would have been a good excuse to bail me out. Anyways, but no, we our Fan Friday question, we will be asking, fans to give us their opinions on what on-field activities they want to see, like the balloon bust. We are definitely bringing that back. We're trying to bring back the giant inflatable balls that we've had in the past. We do have logistics that we have to work around. But just because you submit something doesn't mean that it's going to happen. But I always am open to ideas. Obviously, I only have one brain, and it's large, but it's also
Well, let's try that. Can we hear me now? Can we hear me now? Can we hear me now? Let's try that. Any chance you hear me now? Let's try that. How about that? Thumbs up? No, 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 no. Better? No, no. I don't know what is going on. I'm at a loss here, guys. And I got some thumbs up. So maybe somebody's hearing me now. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what is going on with the sound today. But you guys can't hear me. Okay, good, 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 good. Again, I got this warning earlier today, right before I went on, that high loads of service may cause performance issues on the internet. Thanks AT&T for that. We're back. Yes, I don't know what's going on because I heard Morgan fine. I do apologize, but the internet is just overloaded beyond belief. Everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's trying to do meetings and what have you. And I thought if I started a few minutes late today, I'd get a better track or whatever, but I guess not. So sorry about that, guys. Do apologize. Hope you caught what Morgan had to say, and I do apologize. So again, I'm a victim of this. I mean, I've got pretty decent equipment. I mean, maybe I need better. I don't know the laptops. I don't know. Maybe I'll spend this afternoon before my happy hour downstairs trying to fix whatever it is, because obviously this equipment's not working, and you cannot continue to put on a show like this and have less than optimum equipment. So I guess that's what we need to work on, and we'll do that. Okay, back to hot stove. Again, one of the things that happens in this business that I love, and there are times that you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do a bio again, and oh my gosh, I mean, it's just going to take forever, and all that, and there are times when you kind of think, okay, I got this bio to do, and dig and do some research, and you find some really interesting things. And obviously, a lot of these guys, obviously wins and losses, ERA, batting averages, those are all things that I can get pretty easily. But finding interesting things besides what they do on the field sometimes is a challenge. And there's not a lot of, and this is why I encourage my kids that work for me to do some content, do some stories on guys that, for example, the Ramsey Romano story last year always resonates, or Todd Cunningham 2 years ago with the screenplay, things that nature really interests me. Well, the T-Bones have made a signing. First on the baseball side of things for you. I'll bring this gentleman's picture up here for you. The T-Bones have made a move today, and actually yesterday. I've already mentioned the T-Bones had signed Akeem Bostic, but the T-Bones also have signed this gentleman right here, and it's Mitchell. And I'm going to make sure I'm saying this right. Mitchell Oznowski. I'm sorry. Try it again. My bad. I knew I'd messed it up. Oznowitz. My part, not Nowski. If you look at it, if you're a Maverick person, you think Nowitzki, don't do that. It's Oznowitz. Osnowitz. This young man is very interesting. I found a young man from the Cardinals organization. His baseball background last year at High A and Double A, High A Palm Beach in the Florida State, Double A Springfield, the Texas League. Finished the year in the Texas League. Prior to that, was limited injury-wise, had a sore arm issue in 2018. Only pitched a couple of innings there at the Florida State League. Prior to that, with the Red Sox organization, spent a year there between High A and the short season New York Penn League team, Lowell, and then was in Salem and High A. And then with the Braves organization for 2 years. Atlanta, was in the Appalachian League and worked his way up to, I believe, the South Atlantic League in Rome, Georgia, his second year. Very interesting. Very interesting. And Meredith, I'll get back to that in just a second, guys. Very interesting guy. He has a really good blog. I'm telling you, this morning, I spent about 30 minutes reading through this gentleman's blog. And one of the hardest things about this business, this new media, the video blogs, written blogs, any kind of even social media. It's very hard, even for me, to stay up on top of it daily. When I added Instagram a couple of years ago, it just was more that I had to do. A lot, Twitter and Facebook and all these things we're doing, LinkedIn. And oftentimes you'll start a blog and it sounds great. You get going, all of a sudden the writing becomes monotonous, and you're kind of like, And that's why these blogs, these video blogs that I do my happy hours and of course the Steakhouse and doing the cup of sizzle during the season. I'm committed to keeping those things going. I get in a routine, but it took a while. The first couple of weeks, you start off fine, and all of a sudden by week 3, I got to do it again. And it's your human nature. It's hard to keep these things going, and especially a written blog. I think it's very challenging. Well, this gentleman, Mitchell has gone out and kept an up-to-date blog through his spring training this last year. He was released on the 30th, but he talks about the tail end of spring training. He actually has an entry into his blog that comes up on the day Major League Baseball shut down spring training. He talks about that. Very interesting stuff. Went back to his 2019 and 18 season. A very, I'm giving a link to it in just a moment, but a really interesting guy. I really found the insight refreshing. Todd Van Stencil, remember Todd Van Stencil from St. Paul, bullpen piece last year. He'll be in Fargo this year. He is another guy, very much reminds me of Mitchell, a guy that's not afraid to do some writing. And I know Todd's done some blogs in the past. Todd does a lot more social media, but a guy that not afraid to tell his story. Todd's told his story over and over again through Twitter, and Mitchell's in the very same thing with his blog, and it's very impressive. I encourage you to check it out. I'm going to pull that address up for you in just a moment. There is a picture from his blog right there. It's one of the shots from his blog, and again, it's Oznowitz. He's from Normal, Illinois. Went to college at NAIA school in Kentucky. Also 1 year Indiana State and 1 year at junior college in Iowa. Was a third baseman by trade coming up in the college ranks, and it was signed as a project pitcher, but has made some big league camps. Got a lot of time in big league camp and also a AA, AAA camp with the Cardinals most recently. He's a relief piece, all bullpen work. It kind of looks like he may be a good replacement for Robert Calvano. Calvano, retired, going to his next phase of his life there in the Metro. But Robert was kind of a do-all everything. A spot start, long relief, matchup guy. This looks to be the same kind of guy. Very, very durable, a strikeout printing guy. ERA right around 4 career-wise. And just a really nice number 15. And I think you're liking, but I think the thing that I love about just looking forward to getting to know this young man is his candidates to do a blog. And it's not one of those deals, you guys have read them before, right? When a big leaguer does a blog and the newspaper doesn't kind of ghostwrite it, writes it for him. You guys have seen these, right? Or a professional player does a blog, but it's kind of ghost written by the columnist of the paper. We've seen these before. This is not the case. This gentleman has done his work, and it's his blog. I'm going to pull that up for you right now. And it is, if I can just, sorry about that. And this is the address of his blog. And I'm going to pull that up. Sorry about that. There we go. Here we go. And this is the address of the blog right there. There it is. I encourage you to check it out. That is his blog address right there. Well, actually, we'll tweet it out to you. Actually, tweet it out, but also I'll put you guys on the chat line there. And I'm gonna put up the chat so you guys can check it out. I encourage you guys to check out his blog. Again, very, very good stuff. And there it is right there. So it's on the chat. You can cut and paste there. And it goes, again, like he talks about spring training. It goes back to his rehab stints back last year. He talks about what's even interesting about, and I don't not had a chance to talk to him yet, but I think you'll get a good insight to what this young man's about. He talks frankly about his ups and downs as a player last year in the Texas League, where his numbers were a little high, what he was going through emotionally, what his teammates are going through. And it's a really interesting insight into the side of the game we don't often think about. And I think it'd be great for you guys. I think it's pronounced, I said it wrong, but Oznowitz is the way you say it. Yes, Cheryl, thank you very much. I can't do much right today, can I? But I'm a little snarky today. But if you say as many words as I say, you're going to make some mistakes. So I'm easy target pretty much. But Oznowitz, and the reason I unplugged myself there. The reason I knew I was this morning, I was typing his name in to my page there, and I for some reason that Witz had me thinking Nowitzki. I don't know why, but it just had me think of that, and so that's why I blew it the very, very first time I said it. But Oznowitz, or Oznowitz, what was she saying? Yep, let's see here. Get you guys, there we go. There's Cheryl's pronunciation. I think that she's probably right about that. And there again, there is the link to his blog. I encourage you to check it out. And again, it's good stuff, and that's what I love about this whole business is you get a chance uh, to do some research. And like I said, I found out the Ramsey Romano story was kind of how I found that out last year by reading some things on just kind of doing some research, and then the Todd Cunningham thing a couple of years ago just happened by accident. You find these things out, what these guys what they're doing, and oftentimes there's ways to find out by just talking to them on a daily basis, or it's a blog post. In this case, it's an entire blog. So yes, the Wizard of Oz, which is Australia, the Wizard of Oz. But yeah, Oz, wonderful, wonderful man, or wonderful world it is, right? Is that how that song goes? We're off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. There we go. That's it. Yep, Oz. Now it's Oz. Now it's is what we're saying. We'll get the pronunciation. It'll be in the pronunciation guide. But again, good stuff. Looking forward to having this young man with us. And welcome to the T-Bones family. And again, I encourage you guys to check out the blog. It's very good stuff. And it goes back. He goes back to 17, 16. This is not a blog for this last year. This is going back several years. Again, that's the challenge of this business. It's hard to do these things on a weekly, daily, nightly basis. It takes commitment. This young man is taking the commitment, and I think it probably is a little therapeutic for him. And I'm going to try to get him on maybe in a week or so as we get closer to couple weeks or so, we get a little closer to spring training down the road, but I want to share that with you. So hot stove update there. There you go. A couple of signings, one on the breaking news front. By the way, Chris Brown telling me today, this is from Chris Brown. He was going to join me in the breaking news front right before we went on the air, but he had a meeting to join into, but he can tell everyone he spoke. We talked a bit. He's excited about Bostic being back, and it's been in the works for a little while, he tells us. That apparently that when spring training shut down, that again, it goes back to what I was talking about earlier. AAA and AA guys were definitely in flux because there was no rosters. With those teams, if the big leagues weren't going to play, AAA and AA were frozen. They weren't doing anything. They were not, and then of course the A ball and on down. I mentioned last week I knew some A ball players who got released because they were trying to cut these guys loose to give them a chance to either hook on somewhere else or just to get them back home more than anything else. But Brownie also says that it's been the works. And this is a classic example, Chris telling me that he loves Kansas City. He loves, Keem loves Kansas City, loves the T-Bones, loves what Joe Calfapietra does. It's a culture we talk about with Joe. We bring it up dang near every time we talk about Joe or with Joe. It's a culture of winning, a culture of getting yourself back to where to chase your major league dreams as a player. And you're seeing that, and you're seeing a guy, again, as you know, Akeem Bostic had options. This is not the only place he can go play. I mean, his numbers, experience, and his upside will have any farm director interested in any independent team worth their salt is going to be looking at Akeem Bostic going, hey, that's a guy we could use. I mean, that's a guy we like too. I guarantee his phone rang, but I think it speaks volumes about Joe Calfapietra, Chris Brown, and the T-Bones culture in the player development department, which is rocking right along. And I think it's going to go parallel to bona fide fun. What Morgan's doing and what Mark Brandmeier's doing and Mark McKee and Matt Perry, all those folks in the front office, what they're doing on the promotions and marketing front and making the T-Bone Stadium a place that you're going to really love to be, and the atmosphere, all that's coming, all that stuff's coming because you've already got your player development thing, your player procurement, your team development between the lines is rolling right along. You add that bona fide fun to it. You got one heck of an organization to be proud of, and I hope you guys are proud. I'm very proud of it, and I think it's one of those things, and the culture is really what makes a difference, and it will make a difference going forward for us. But good time to be a T-Bone, Brownie says, and it is a good time to be a T-Bone. I got questions and comments from you guys. I'll let you How about now? You guys got me back now? You got me back now? You got me back? I hope so. I hope so. Hear me now? Oh no. Hear me now? Better, 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 better. Back, 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 back. Are you guys got me? I hope so. Yep, got me. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna cut this thing short because this is you guys deserve better. You deserve a better presentation than this, and I apologize.